It is August 2nd in this year, 2022. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, NXT 2.0. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Alfred Konuwa and NYC Demon Diva Issa tonight to talk about NXT post SummerSlam, post New Era. Oh, the golden age we're entering. So good to see you both. Issa, back from Nashville, looking fantabulous in all those photos and all those videos interviewing talents.
Thank you. I had a blast. It was a great weekend. Busy. I'm still recovering. I'm still in recovery mode, but it was fun and rewarding.
And as busy as she's been the entire weekend, she still had time to do a run-in on me and Justin's podcast on Saturday after SummerSlam. It was a lot of fun.
I'm a workaholic. What can I say?
How sober were you on that run-in? I haven't watched it.
I was very sober. Unfortunately, I worked so much that I didn't even get drunk in Nashville, believe it or not.
Wow.
I'm not sober right now. But
okay.
The running, I was sober. They didn't. I was sitting at the press box. They didn't serve us alcohol. They know better. They just gave us Cokes and water. Come
on. Well, so good to see you both. Before we hop into the NXT, Alfred, what's going on in the news?
Oh, a lot of things going on in the news, including a monster number for WWE RAW Triple H. This was, I feel like we've been saying that the Triple H era is starting here. But because SummerSlam is done and it's like a fresh slate, this felt like the first real Raw of the Triple H era coming out of SummerSlam, and it did big numbers, 2.23 million viewers. Those are the numbers they were doing when they were 2 hours on the USA Network, and they weren't the B-show to SmackDown. They were up 17%, and then 23% increase in the 18 to 49 demo. So WWE Raw really crushing it in the ratings. WWE's viewership, even before the Vince thing, has been climbing up and has really kind of been on fire in some ways. And this was no exception for the Raw, the highest number in 2 years since 2020. But what did you think about the actual episode of Raw? What do you think about the numbers in going forward, Issa?
I missed a lot of Monday Night Raw because I was doing my traveling back from Nashville. So I was kind of like judging it based on social media responses. And it looked like a lot of people were really enjoying this episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm here for Ciampa push. Apparently, he got a pretty big push. I love hearing the fact that we got Io and Bianca Belair. It just sounds like Triple H. It's like some of the things that I saw went on the show, even if you don't watch it, they have Triple H stamp all over it, and that just makes me happy. The fact that there's so many people feeling hopeful about watching WWE product again is a good time to be a wrestling fan, I guess.
Very exciting. Now, I did not watch Raw last night because we are in the last 3 episodes of Better Call Saul. Had to check that out. Analyze the show, getting ready for the finale coming up in 2 weeks. But everything I saw online, people were very excited about Raw last night. And I have to admit, I was tempted to turn it on more so than usual, and not for the weird sort of spectacle train wreck reasons.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement built around WWE. The Twitter account released a tweet that said that it's going to be a statement show. You're hearing all this buzz. There were rumors that Sasha Banks and Naomi, not only have they re-signed with WWE or on the way back, but some people thought they might show up on tonight's show. So I'm sure that helped it. Having said that, given all the hype, if you're one of these people who tuned in, who probably just saw, oh, wow, Vince is gone, people are excited for this show, I don't think this is a show that you're going to watch and be like, oh, I can't wait to come back next week. As somebody who watches Raw every week and knows the little idiosyncrasies, yes, it definitely seems different in certain ways. And I think it's very promising in terms of what I saw as somebody who watches it all the time. But as somebody who's coming from the outside watching Raw, maybe you gave up on it because it's been 3 hours. If you're a Glenn, I don't know if you tune into this and say, wow, I can't wait until next week. Yeah, somebody who's smart enough to not sit around the TV for 3 hours. I'm jealous. I should be watching Better Call Saul.
If you're a Glenn, wow.
It's a good way. It's a good way to put it.
Is this going to become the new norm for the disgruntled but curious WWE fan, the Glens of the WWE universe?
Yep. There was a lot of Glens that tuned in last night, according to these numbers. So
yeah, we'll see how many Glens they keep around. And I'm only talking about Raw because I know Glenn doesn't go and watch Raw for 3 hours, and I get it. I'm not, bemoaning that at all. But I just don't think it had anything that would make you really want to
3 hours.
Continue
let me break this down for you. In 3 hours on a Monday night, you could watch the new Better Call Saul, the new episode of The Rehearsal. You could watch 2 episodes of The Bear on FX. You could watch Paper Girls on Prime Video. Like, you could get, like, half a week's TV watching in for one episode of Raw with commercials.
See, Glenn is smart with his times. That's what a Glenn is.
Glenn knows time is money. So, he don't want to waste no time or money. I will say one thing though, Alfred, based on these rumors. If I have Sasha and Naomi and it's true that there might be a return from them, I will save them for SmackDown. If you have Bailey with Dakota Kai and Io come back at Raw, I think the SmackDown Women's Division can also use a little, life to it. So I will personally save more returns from the women for SmackDown.
Well, and the crazy thing about that tweet, Alfred, was not only did it use statement, but it also said with SummerSlam in the rear view. So there was a Naomi and a Sasha reference in that tweet.
Picked up on that. They were really teasing that news, and it was out there. It was a big story that broke hours before Raw went on the air that Sasha and Naomi could be on their way back. It does seem like only a matter of time. So listen, I was very excited. I tried to even temper my expectations, and as much as I did not have a problem with Raw, I did not consider it a bad episode. I actually considered it a pretty good episode, but it wasn't that far and away different from Raw, even on the merits of being a Raw after SummerSlam, which I expected to be a big reset show. On the merits of just a Raw after SummerSlam, no matter who's in charge, I didn't look at this and think that it's some game-changing show that I would want to tune into next week, because it was still very long and there were still some dead parts there, especially the crowd.
But we are getting the Ciampa and Bobby Lashley match next week, right?
Yes, we are getting.
So I love the idea. Yeah, I love the idea of this of the storyline continuing just next week and not just tuning in and getting invested and having to wait for the next pay-per-view, especially given the fact that WWE is not doing an August pay-per-view. So we depend on their weekly programming now to keep us interested.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great point.
Is very
and speaking
exciting.
of keeping us interested, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this in terms of some of the big creative changes that are going to be made. It looks like one thing we'll be seeing less of is scripted promos, as one of Triple H's edicts is to loosen up the restrictions, not only on the mic, but in the ring as well, letting people improvise more when it comes to their matches, allowing them to cut promos that aren't so scripted. And I did really notice that just watching some of the promos on SummerSlam, particularly Drew McIntyre, who seemed to just be riffing. Yeah. It really felt like they just told him to go out there and say whatever he wants. And he did seem more comfortable. And again, when it comes to scripted, I've always had the same opinion. Not all scripted promos are created equally. Some people do need to be scripted. Roddy Piper being one of them. Like, some people need to be scripted so that you can keep them inside that box. But some people could just riff. And Kevin Owens I put in that box, Drew McIntyre, of course. But it looks like we're going to get less scripted promos. And I think that's going to go a long way in terms of being kind of a smaller change that makes a big difference in the product.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually with you on that. I personally thought there was a different flavor to Drew McIntyre when he came out and cut that promo at SummerSlam. I enjoyed it. Drew McIntyre is somebody that looks the part but doesn't feel the part when he starts talking. So maybe not being scripted is going to be something that really benefits him. I think there's a lot of people that I would just love to be able to be given that free range and just see what they have to say. So that I'm excited about.
Yeah, free range wrestlers, not caged.
Free range, grass-fed wrestling. Let's go.
Grass-fed wrestling, GFW. It even makes a great chant.
I'm going to make that the name of I'm going to start a wrestling federation and I'm going to call it that. The Grass-Fed Wrestling Federation.
And then what's the tagline going to be? Big meaty men slapping meat.
Oh,
big meaty men slapping meat forever. Like that main event of SummerSlam. That main event of SummerSlam was the definition of that.
Now, I watched SummerSlam. That was one where I turned that on maybe like 5 minutes late. And I was like, oh, Becky versus Bianca. I'm just going to watch this. And then we're going to, watch a movie or do something else with her Sunday. It kept us all the way through. We watched the entire pay-per-view. It was very good.
Yes. It really was an excellent pay-per-view. I had a lot of fun watching it. I watched it with my brother. There was a lot of big moments that popped us. I love that main event just based on them just really doing everything they could to make that different, and they succeeded. I love the tractor. It was just a moment in time. Now, again, I still don't need to see Brock and Roman in the ring again, but they got me.
That might be you. That might be you. I will take it again and again and again.
I know you would. You're going to like this story, Issa, I think. Our final news story is about, let's give some love to AEW. They've been kind of pushed aside with all this WWE action going on. Rampage just did one of the lowest numbers they've ever done. Not too far off from the Fast Nationals that I posted, 16,000 to be exact. But AEW has filed a trademark for all elite women. What do we think? What do we think, Issa?
I'm gonna let it play out, Alfred.
Are you gonna let it play out, Glenn?
I'm optimistic, but I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be like a rebranding of the division? Okay, so maybe a reality show. Maybe they're going the Total Divas route.
Yeah, it could be a new show. I don't think it's going to be a wrestling show, but who knows? But it might be a new show. Anything they can do to get women. I think that's where they really struggle consistently, is getting that female audience. Sometimes they'll do some pretty good numbers, but that AEW zeitgeist is leans heavily toward men. And reality shows, focusing and showcasing women and their actual stories, not men scripting them, I think is going to help AEW encroach on a women's audience.
Yeah, it could be helpful.
Certainly didn't do that with Rampage, which did 375,000 viewers. Very, very low.
Ouch. And they're about to hit their 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, and they've been kind of cratering. They're down from where they were last year. And this time last year, they were up and they were really growing. I mean, you can credit that to the pandemic, because in 2020, all the numbers across the board were lower. But AEW seems to kind of be settling into a ceiling right now, which is okay. It just depends. And now there's whispers of, not even whispers, this is a real thing, that Warner Media Discovery isn't going to be spending much money, which is not the greatest news for AEW, especially as their TV rights fees are starting to come up.
Man, first Batgirl. Now,
yeah, that was telling. They're not doing Batgirl at all. They're really cutting back.
Here's the deal. I debated canceling HBO Max today as a reaction to them shelving Batgirl. Not releasing on HBO Max, not theaters. They're just saying, no, we're going to take it right down. It's never going to see the light of day. Michael Keaton's in it as Batman, for Christ's sakes. And I said, no, I have to see how the last 3 episodes of The Rehearsal play out. But I'm telling you this, HBO Max, HBO Discovery, if you do not give Nathan Fielder more money to make more seasons of The Rehearsal, like, that's it. We're done. I'm done with you.
As long as Barry and the Larry Sanders Show are on HBO Max, I will never cancel.
I mean, I've got the DVDs of the Larry Sanders Show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a DVD player. I mean, it is true. In my home. I could go home and get it, but up north in Chico, California. But I don't have one. I can play it on my PlayStation too, I guess.
Oh, there you go. That'll work. Yeah, but Discovery HBO, I mean, like, the new Discovery guy that's running Discovery HBO is not cut from any entertainment business cloth like we have seen before. And he is making some very fiscally conservative moves that could end up impacting the AEW deal.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me nervous about this is just executives of this nature tend to thumb their nose at pro wrestling and not really get it, despite
although it's cheap, though. It's cheap.
Yeah, it is cheap, and it does well with an 18 to 49 audience. And if you look at whether it's AEW, SmackDown, or Raw, AEW Dynamite in particular, they number 1 on cable most weeks, and a lot of impressive things. But when it comes to advertisers and these executives, they tend to look down on wrestling. And when it comes time to cut, wrestling, unfortunately, tends to be something that would take the hit. Not saying that's going to happen to AEW. I really don't see that happening anytime soon. But it is a little worrisome that they are making so many cuts.
Well, it better hold the accountant's lead in if AEW stands a chance of keeping on the Warner networks.
Yes, let's pour one out for AEW. Say a prayer, everybody. Everybody say a silent prayer.
I can't stop laughing at that comment in the chat that says Alfred is too street to have a DVD player.
Shows how much you know about me. He's got a point. Listen, I'm from the suburbs of Chico, California. Time magazine named Chico, California the most dangerous cul-de-sac in America. So he's right. I am.
We can't be having no DVD players at the most dangerous.
No. I'll get that stolen.
I'm done.
I spent a weekend.
I'm already done. We're only 14 minutes in, and I'm already done.
I spent a weekend in Chico once. First off, Chico, you think you know a long drive through unpopulated areas of California. Oh. Drive to Chico, and it makes a drive to Redding look like nothing.
Yeah, Mendocino County. There's stretches where you won't see a sign of life for hours.
Oh man, I don't remember much about that weekend, that's what they say. If you remember anything about your weekend in Chico, you didn't go to Chico.
Exactly.
Did you steal a DVD player when you were in Chico, Glenn?
Yes, Fast and the Furious style. We were in a car gang. We were boosting DVD players off trucks. We were keeping it real.
That sounds amazing.
That's
Keeping
great.
it
That's
very
incredible.
real.
We got to have a
That's
live
incredible.
podcast in Chico, California. Laxon Auditorium. We're gonna.
You
fill
know,
it.
I did a Q&A on my Instagram, and this is the 5th time that people have asked that we come together and do an on-location podcast. We gotta do it, you guys. We gotta do
We
it.
should.
It will. It'll happen one day.
The next
But not
time-
at Chico. Not at Chico.
Not
I'm
Chico.
not trying to get my DVD player stolen, okay?
Yeah, I don't get pulled up on. No, if you come to Chico, come with me. I'll keep you guys safe. Okay, I got
All
good
right,
ones
all
in
right,
Chico.
great. Good to know.
Okay, so Peter Bahi, $5 super chat wants to know, Alfred, how are those Google searches coming along? I don't even know what this is.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. Check out my Instagram. I can't really repeat the joke, but I have a joke that is going crazy right now on Instagram.
Okay.
About my Google search. Google searching the N word and what happens when you search the N word on Google. And I actually say it. And it's a fun word to search for me, not for anybody else. I don't want anybody in the chat to search the N word on Google unless you are of the right complexion. But check my Instagram out at AKONUWA.
Mia Lee, $4.99. Not Cora calling Mandy little girl. I died. LOL. Tiffany Stratton, an icon. Nikita, that bitch. What 3 male NXT stars would y'all call up to be a Shield 2.0?
Wow. You can go first, Issa.
Why do I have to go first? First of all, I hated Cora trying to call Mandy a little girl. Who would I call up to be a Shield? From NXT 2.0, Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah,
Tony
yes.
D'Angelo.
Tony Braun and Solo.
Solo, yeah.
No.
I was gonna say Carmelo Hayes, but I can't leave Trick out of it. So I guess I'm gonna call Trick, Carmelo, and Tony D. Solo should come. Solo means alone in Spanish.
Yes,
so
that's
Solo
even better.
needs to just be by himself, you know. So it's gonna my Shield 2.0. They're not gonna be a Shield, but my Shield 2.0 is gonna be who did I say? Carmelo, Trek, and Tony D. I'm sorry. Guys, it's been a long weekend, okay?
Tony D'Angelo stacks in a returning 2 dimes because all they do is they colonize these
2 dimes
groups.
is sleeping with the fish, Alfred. Come on.
Over on AEW. With those
He's like
fast
Tupac,
nationals.
just like Tupac. He's still alive. He's just hanging out somewhere in Cuba right now, and he's still alive. And when the time is right, 2 dimes is coming back home. And I think because they're just going around colonizing all these groups. Okay, they got the Legado del Fantasma, so they just do the same thing with the Shield, and they become the new Shield.
There you go.
The Shield could never be done again, ever.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially with different guys. I don't even think one different Shield member would be a success.
So, Jared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my password. So Jared is saying, hey, gang, look forward to the show. Love that women's tag match tonight. It was quite good. By the way, Glenn, loving your new podcast with Jeff Gerstmann. Everybody, go over to Jeff Gerstmann's YouTube channel. Future episodes are going to be on Jeff's Patreon, but we did the first one public. It's about our history in video games in the early 1990s as teenagers, covering Nintendo versus Sega, all the chicanery and hijinks we got involved in, lots of attempts at underage drinking, horrible egos and abuse of power. And we have the best, worst name for this podcast on Jeff Gerstmann's YouTube, which is Game Boys to Men. And the first episode is out now. So go over to Jeff Gerstmann's YouTube to check that out.
I hope Jeff is ready to fight me on Glenn on a pole match for podcast partner, because you were mine before you were Jeff's. Okay, so Jeff, I'm ready to throw down.
Oh, there you go.
Get some podcasts for us.
Yes, but first episode out now, more to come. It's weirdly therapeutic taking a walk down
Game
memory
Boys
lane.
to Man, though, that
Yes.
is genius. Honestly, genius.
You guys got to step your game up with Yellow Jackets Buzz. I mean, you guys might have to change that to keep up with Game Boys to Men. I'm just saying, not trying to start anything.
Wow, Alfred, what the hell, man?
No, I'm Team Yellow Jackets, all right? I'm Team Yellow Jackets all the way.
Good. I can't wait for it to come back.
I
Like,
did. So
Glenn's already trying to replace me. He's like, okay, Yellow Jacket's taking forever. Let me go get with Jeff. What the
I know
hell,
Yellow
man?
Jackets isn't shooting till like later this month. It's not. I doubt it's going to be out this year, which is very unfortunate. You know what I did watch on Prime Video though, the adaptation of a comic book series called Paper Girls about 4 teenage girls in 1988 that time travel into the future, and that's got kind of like a Yellow Jackets meets Stranger Things sort of vibe. Like it's pretty good. The first episode's a
It
mess.
sounds
But it's pretty
interesting.
good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, first episode's kind of a mess, but man, like there's one story arc in there. It's one of the best things I've seen on TV in quite some time. So very good.
I want to time travel, but I wouldn't trust me to like follow the rules of time traveling.
Oh,
like,
and
yeah,
this doesn't.
Shout out to Modesto, California, real quick.
Yes.
I'm just saying I wouldn't follow the rules. Like I'll be finding out who's gonna win the World Series. I'll be betting money. Like I will be so evil if I was able to time travel. You guys have no idea.
Issa, let me tell you. Yes, one thing I like about Paper Girls is that there's no Back to the Future rules. Like they're going to the future, and one of them's like hanging out with her future self. Like,
no, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
"Hey, you dumb bitch! Do not do this. Do this." Like, oh my god, it would be insane.
Who's in Paper Girl? Who's the big star of Paper? Is there anybody I would know?
Ali Wong is plays the modern day version of one of the girls.
That'll be fun. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of no names, or newer talents aside from that. But I'm really digging it. Like I said, the first episode's all over the place. But Jason Mantzoukas is in it as like a bad guy, which is weird.
Ali Wong has been popping up in comedy clubs around town, and she's going through a divorce. Never been funnier.
Really,
I'm telling you. You want to step your comedy game up? You get divorced. That divorce will do what? Divorce is like steroids for comedy. Chris Rock got funnier after a divorce. Ali Wong. It was already funny, but she got way funnier after the divorce. It's just wonderful divorce material.
Eddie Murphy after deciding not to get married because of all the divorce stories in Raw.
There you go.
Yeah. Steve Marcuccioli, $4.99. WrestleMania in LA. You want Bianca versus Charlotte or Bianca versus Rhea?
Bianca versus Rhea.
Yeah, I think Bianca versus Rhea would be fire. They would really have to heat Rhea up and tell us a good story, and because the match is going to be fire no matter what, but it would be on them to really tell that story between them that would get people invested. Bianca versus Charlotte wouldn't be bad, but they've been saving Bianca versus Rhea, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like Dylan Matthews, big divorce numbers in Australia. Everything's bigger in Australia. And can kill you. So funny. Yeah, it's true. Okay, we have to talk about this show tonight, don't we? Mia, okay, what female celeb would y'all like to divorce? No, what female celeb would y'all like to see in WWE?
Well,
that's
Kat
true.
Davis,
yeah,
saying she watches WWE now, so that'd be a lot of fun.
We haven't seen a lot of female celebrities wrestle in WWE.
Yeah, Snooki comes to mind. Maria Menounos. The Kardashians would be a lot of fun if there was a Survivor Series match, the 4 Horsewomen versus the Kardashians.
Yeah.
You roll your eyes, but let me tell you, the numbers that would do on Peacock.
I mean, Ronda Rousey counts, but she was famous for, she's really famous for her role in the Entourage movie, but I hear she also has an MMA background.
Oh, man.
I would like to see. I know she's not like a celebrity because she's an actual fighter, but I wouldn't mind seeing Amanda Nunes make a quick, WWE run and maybe have a story with Ronda. But that might bring some real life trauma.
Yeah, and I don't think they would do it now. But if it was a couple of years ago, like Gina Carano would have probably been pretty.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she can go to Control Your Narrative, maybe, but I don't know about that.
No.
Oh, I sang her praises so much after Haywire.
I would watch it. Full disclosure, if I heard Grano was going to Control Your Narrative, I would watch it.
Got to control those narratives. Got to control them. Peter Bahi, $2. Glenn Gavin DeCraw. Call wants his look back. I was debating what to wear tonight, and I was like, I'm going to bust this out. I got to cover my arms. I got like way TMI, but I got a cat scratch that got infected, so I'm on like antibiotics and I'm all ointmented and bandaged up. I legitimately have the cat scratch fever, like Ted Nugent sang about.
Is it because you broke up your bonded cats and they got upset?
No, I think some of our cats like to love with their claws, So they'll just like really dig, and I have a feeling, maybe litter or something infected it. I don't know. Sucks.
Since I learned that from you, Glenn, I've been mansplaining bonded cats to everybody who's willing to listen.
Me too. I was actually talking about it this weekend in Nashville, Glenn. Thanks a lot for that.
Yes.
It's a great conversation piece.
It's
I
important.
also told my best friend that we were like bonded cats, and she was like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
It's the most dog-like thing that I've ever seen in cats. It's pretty insane. So tonight's NXT was, well, what'd y'all think? Like, I'm gonna say it was okay, but what'd you think of that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. It was all right. It wasn't great.
It was all right.
It wasn't the worst, but it was just there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was
Well,
fun.
there you have it, folks. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Good night, everybody. I feel like that happens with NXT quite a bit after a big pay-per-view, because you get the pay-per-view and then you get the Raw, and then NXT always is more of a step down because they're not connected to the pay-per-view. It's not like they have anything to piggyback off of from the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like you're starting fresh.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
will say one thing. I did notice on Monday Night Raw, and I heard that a lot of the commentary was finally referring to some of these superstars' accolades in NXT. I heard that Tommaso Ciampa's NXT reign was brought up. I heard that Io's NXT reign was brought up. So I'm happy to hear about that, because then maybe they'll start putting a lot more effort into what they're doing in NXT. Did it feel like a ground-changing episode of NXT? No. Was I entertained? I was.
Mm-hmm.
Was it good? Sure. Did it have some bad moments? Of course. Would I watch it again? Maybe.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
We're going to do everything in Robert Evans question style for the rest of the episode. No, I think, yes, to Alfred's point, it's very tough after something like SummerSlam and NXT. We've got Heat Wave coming up, but this is a very transitional period, and I think it was hot. It was hot opening up with that women's 4-way tag match. That was good. Of course, it has to be thinking with Toxic Attraction not winning, that they're main roster bound. Mandy's days are numbered as champion. I could very well see Aunt Pam and her girls on Raw and Toxic Attraction on SmackDown, similar to like a Riot Squad Absolution sort of thing. But yeah, I feel like we're very much in transition. In fact, I'm going to just say that with Triple H regaining involvement and some call-ups and Heat Wave, I'm just going to predict that 100 days from now, NXT is going to look very different than what you saw tonight in terms of the talent being showcased and featured.
I agree with that.
I like the 100-day timeline, like he's the new president of WWE.
Yeah. In his first 100 days, he will let Road Dogg beg for his job back. He won't offer it to him. He'll say, Brian, I'm going to allow you to beg for your job back. And then he will say, I will hire you back on a provisional basis for 6 months, no benefits.
I like that Road Dogg's at least admitting it. He's keeping it 100. He's not making any bones about what his intentions are. So good for him.
But yeah, we're at the end, or we're in the waning days of an era. I mean, do you see Braun Breaker spending another 100 days as NXT
I hope
champ?
so.
Possibly not 100 days. I could see
not as NXT champ, but in NXT, yes.
You hope he stays in NXT for 1,000 days, huh?
Yes.
Do you think Cameron Grimes 100 days from now is in NXT?
Yes.
That's a tricky one. I don't.
What is it gonna do in the main roster? Alfred, he's been losing everywhere in NXT. You really think he's gonna come to the main roster? And I'll digress.
Maybe he's doing the job on the way out. And I will say about Cameron Grimes, well, I guess he was part of the Triple H era, but he was like at the tail end. I don't think it's fair to say that he's a Triple H guy per se, but I do think Triple H would appreciate Cameron Grimes for sure.
He has No Way Jose 24/7 energy written all over him.
Now, I would agree with you if Vince was still in charge, that I feel like if he was under Vince, Vince would think he's hilarious and make him into a joke wrestler. Triple H is more of a wrestling guy, and I think he would appreciate the wrestler of Cameron Grimes. And I think Cameron Grimes on the main roster would be used a lot like he is in NXT, as somebody who is capable of doing comedy, but when he wants to get serious and wrestle, he can do that too. But I don't like serious Cameron Grimes, to be honest.
Yeah, they've rolled him back so much. But I think Breaker, Grimes, and Toxic Attraction are my picks for the next NXT call-ups.
Do you think Toxic Attraction gets called up as a triad? Because I think they take Mandy and leave the other two down in NXT if there was a call-up there.
I think they bring up Mandy. They don't let the other two wrestle for the first 60 days on the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, they have promise, especially Gigi Dolan, but they, I think, could benefit by staying in NXT. And if Mandy Rose was to part ways with them, and I think it's kind of run its course now and it's a new era, I would like to see them go their separate ways and then Gigi and JC find their way. But I want to see this Mandy Rose on the main roster. She was never cutting promos like this. Now, I'm not saying that she's this revelation. She just never used to talk on the main roster in terms of carrying her own promos. And now she's learned to do that in NXT. I'd like to see that on the main roster.
I think she gets called to the main roster and try and figure out the mystery of it. And it was Otis that lobbied to get her back so they could rekindle their love affair.
Yeah, they've got to pay that up. That's what I want to see in this new era. I want to see Otis win back that Money in the Bank and resume that storyline they were going to do.
It was
facepalm me, Issa.
It was good. But Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane took on Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, Valentina Ferozen, Yulisa Leon, and Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley in a fatal 4-way elimination match for the vacant NXT Women's Tag Team titles. No Alundra Blaze this week.
Unfortunately.
I know. Issa, are you excited that the Carter Chance era of domination has begun and they have won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles?
I am excited for them. I thought the finish was I thought the match was great. I thought the finish was really good. They were the only tag team that have been a tag team since day one, and they have been together for a long time. When you looked at the people fighting over these tag titles in this match, I had to put away my normal common sense thinking, which was like, why don't we just unify the tag titles here, right? We're not doing anything with the main roster's tag titles. This was the perfect storyline for it. I also couldn't stop wondering why they even put the titles on Roxanne and Cora Jade. But when I take all of that, common sense things out of the way, I'm very happy for them. I think they deserved it, and I wish they would have not done the storyline with Cora and Roxanne, and they could have just finally beaten Toxic Attraction for it. Would have felt like a bigger deal, but it doesn't matter. They have the titles, good for them.
Yes, very happy for them, and I completely agree. They're really the only, outside of Toxic Attraction in this match, traditional tag team, and they've been getting better every time. I'm glad that they finally got the tag team titles. I was kind of hoping they would just full on turn heel beforehand because it looks like that's where they were going. But I'm just happy that they have the titles and they're actually like a tag team, because I didn't want to see them go back to Toxic Attraction once again, because I really do feel that's run its course at this point. I thought the match was fine. They got everybody out, and I think it took too long to start doing the eliminations, to be honest, but it was fine. And it's good the tag team titles are still here. So maybe the women's tag team titles are here in NXT. Sasha and Naomi coming back. Maybe they'll bring the titles with them. So maybe women's tag team wrestling isn't dead in WWE the way we thought when Cora Jade threw them in the trash can.
There you go. It's still there. We have new champions. Good finish to this match.
Yeah.
Really very exciting.
Good
hot open to the
too.
show.
They seemed legitimately moved that they finally won those tag team titles. I didn't think it was ever going to happen.
They've definitely had some detours on their road to the championship. Some name changes. Actually, I'm still not sure what their gimmicks are, but they're there. They're champions.
Are they still doing the festival thing? Are they going to take these belts to Coachella?
Didn't they do that like 1 week?
Let's go.
I remember that. They dropped that really quick.
Yeah, they were doing that for a couple of weeks and then never mentioned it again.
I turned on Lollapalooza on Hulu on Saturday and looked at the schedule, and I kid you not, I recognized one band name on the entire Saturday lineup.
Wow. Does that mean you're getting younger or older?
Older.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, Dashboard Confessional. I wonder who else is playing. I was like, I recognize none of these names. Sunday I did, but not Saturday. I felt very old. First Dashboard Confessional record came out half my lifetime ago. That's how long it's been. So Carmelo Hayes, open challenge for the NXT North American Championship. Giovanni Vinci comes out to the ring to answer the call, but Nathan Frazier ran to the ring and beat him to answer that call to lose to Carmelo Hayes.
That was my reaction to that segment.
Yo, I popped so hard. Like, this dude is just posing for his entrance, and he just like the way he freaking photobombed him and then just ran to the ring. I gotta tell you, big pop for me. I was here for that.
Very funny. Very, very funny. I thought it was a good use. I like how there was a still of him in the background, and then the next shot was him in the ring.
Fun segment, not really meaningful in the grand scheme of things, but
I mean that. Go ahead, Alfred. Go ahead.
I was going to say Carmelo was very over on his birthday. They were singing "Happy
Yes.
Birthday" to him during a backstage segment that you couldn't even hear because they were singing it, and then they did it again when they were on camera. They loved this guy because it was his birthday.
See, I think he could end up winning the championship before the main championship before Tony D does.
I can see it.
Yeah, I agree. I really, really like Carmelo. I love the open challenge, so I thought this becomes a weekly thing. I love the idea of him just facing everybody. I find myself more invested in what he's doing than what Braun Breaker is doing, but I personally think they just haven't put Braun Breaker in the most captivating feuds since Dolph Ziggler, so we'll see where it goes, but I was here for all of this.
I'm also more invested in the North American Championship than the NXT Championship because that A champion gimmick is a shoot. He is a great champion. He's great at carrying himself like a champion. The NXT title, the North American title, does seem more important than the NXT title. And I like that they're doing this open challenge. Just Carmelo Hayes just knows all the little things to do to be a champion. I think he's really learning under the tutelage of Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels was also good at that too.
Update to a previous super chat from Tox Kazim saying, "Thank God I didn't have to mail Triple H a huge, big, flaming bag of crap. Bianca to the rescue."
Update from his threats
Tox
from last
Kazim.
week.
Yes, it's good. Can you mail? You can't mail that. I'm certainly not on fire.
Yeah, you can. There's some services in the dark web that will probably do it for you.
Oh yeah, or you could put it in some Tupperware so they don't smell it, and then put it in a bag. You can absolutely do that.
I mean, if this woman on TikTok is selling her pink sauce everywhere, I'm pretty sure we can send crap to people. Have you seen it? She's sending this. Have you seen that whole thing? She's sending like this sauce that she's making with like milk products, and she's just sending them in these bags and just shipping it out. Like, ew.
If I get something like, do you ever open a jar and it doesn't pop? Or you look at something, you're like, oh, that safety seal doesn't look like. I throw stuff out all the time where I'm like, this has been tampered with.
Yeah, did you notice that the Starbucks, you know how they sell those frappuccinos in a bottle? They stopped putting like the plastic around it. Now I can buy them. I feel weird about it.
It is weird. It is weird when the jars don't pop because normally the jars pop.
It's weird when you order pink sauce from somebody on TikTok and then expect it to arrive following FDA. She said she didn't even know what FDA was.
Oh
like,
no!
Do not buy the pink sauce, okay? Or send Triple H a pink sauce if he starts booking the shows like crap.
Glenn, can you eat the pink sauce on the air, and then we can maybe organize something where you get the super chats that day?
Is it vegan?
It's not. Sure I mean, she did. No, it's not. This woman don't even know what the FDA is. Do you really think she cares about what she's putting on this thing? We can't do that to Glenn. We like Glenn, Alfred. Come on.
Yeah, trying to kill me with. I'm taking antibiotics for a cat scratch right now, for Christ's sakes. No, you know what I like doing is looking up copycat recipes online. Like I make my own like horsey sauce, like Arby's. I make like a vegan version of that. I like to look up how to make those things, and I do that at home. Condiments, because the nice thing about making condiments at home, like my hot and sweet pickled onions, is that you can make those and you put it in the fridge, and it's good for like 6 weeks. 6 weeks worth of eating right there. You know,
if you put it in the freezer, it'll go even longer too, right?
Do you think mayonnaise freezes and unfreezes well? Probably not something pickled either. Yeah. You know, I did start doing though, and I feel like an old man for doing this. I started freezing my bread because I was not going through a loaf of bread before it went bad. So I started breaking it up into like quarters and then freezing little baggies of bread. And I take one of those out every couple of days, eat the bread after it defrosts. Because I was throwing away like half a loaf a week.
And is it like keto bread or is it like actual bread?
I get the Bible bread, the Ezekiel bread. You know, it's got low carbs, low sodium. I mean, it's frozen in the store. You get it in the freezer section in the store. You thaw it out. You toast it. It tastes fine. You know?
Sounds delicious.
I mean, how? Okay,
barely food.
Alfred, when's the last time you went through an entire loaf of bread?
I go through loaves of bread. I'm almost done with the bread right now.
Okay.
I put bread on it. It's keto bread though. It's, put some cheese on it, peanut butter and jelly.
See, I eat one piece of bread a day, one piece of carb-friendly whole grain sprouted grain bread. I have one a day with my avocado toast. And I learned the other day, based on clickbait, do you know that you should not cut your avocados with any sort of metal knife because if you keep the other half, it will oxidize faster because of its exposure to metal.
Is this Bible bread similar to like the purity belt in Ring of Honor? Like I'm
Very
very
similar.
confused.
Very similar.
I don't know what Bible bread is.
So
I'm
I
sorry.
eat it's this company called Ezekiel. It's they're not a religious bread, but it's named after something in the Bible, some verse about bread. So I get that. I get my avocado. I now cut it with a ceramic knife. I save half the avocado because I only use half each time. And I eat my avocado toast when I take my vitamins.
Is Joel Osteen's face on the package of Bible bread?
It's not. It's not.
I think it should be. I would buy it if it was.
Ezekiel bread. I just call it Bible bread because Ezekiel sounds weird.
Speaking of Ezekiel, where is he? Don't tell me that he's one of the casualties of the Triple H era, that Triple H doesn't get Ezekiel, because he's going to have smoke with me if Triple H...
Maybe
axes
Triple
Ezekiel.
H understands that Ezekiel is Elias and he's just going to bring us back Elias.
Possibly, but listen, that Ezekiel thing was cooking.
Oh, is that done already?
No, I mean, I haven't seen him in a few weeks, so I hope it's not.
Maybe
He's
maybe
growing,
the
he's
third
growing the
bugger.
beer back. That's why you haven't seen it.
So talk about a letdown. Last week, JD McDonough cut an amazing promo about all sorts of depressing things about how you're going to die a horrible death due to your own negligence. And this week, we just got kind of a straightforward face-off between him and Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. This is not a way to build up this feud. I'm not feeling it yet. I'm just not. The bleeding on his finger and I'm not feeling it yet.
What was that? And then my favorite part was like Braun Breaker not shaking his hand, because I could relate to that. There's too many weird illnesses going on in the world right now. Like, don't shake this bleeding man's hand. I didn't like this. I thought they had done more with the. I thought they did more with the like plastic surgeon promo. I didn't watch NXT last week, so I feel lost. But this wasn't my favorite contract signing segment ever. I will say that.
It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
And it's tough too, because Braun Breaker is not Mr. Charisma. So the fact that they had JD McDonough, who did such an amazing job last week, come out tonight and just give us this nothing promo is ridiculous.
Is it next week? Heat Waves next week?
Is it? I don't know.
It might be in 2 weeks, but they need to do more and fast.
Yes, I agree. So, Apollo backstage talking to Creed,
Taking a break from protecting the streets.
Yeah,
where's more promos there? I want to see Apollo chopping it up vigilante style.
Me too.
I want to see Apollo on the streets of Chico, California, trying to survive. I don't know if he
stealing DVD players, or going after the people that are stealing the DVD players. Like, imagine, that would be so priceless. And then he catches them, grabs the DVD, puts in a DVD with like the best of Apollo, and just makes them watch his matches. Like, that would be incredible.
He'll get those bricks back and the DVD player. He'll get DVD players back for anybody who lost them. I like that gimmick.
And then when he unmasked like the thief, is Commander Aziz, bro. He'll be like, "You left me. You went back to NXT and you left me. I don't have a job no more. I gotta do what I gotta do." Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Oh my god, that's what it has to be. I would love to see that.
Mandy Rose beats Saray tonight pretty easily.
Yeah.
I was disappointed with this match. I remember when they had that first match, and I was raving about it. We were raving about it, and I don't think this came close to it.
No. But this was followed by a pretty great video package for Tiffany Stratton.
Yes. Tiffany Stratton might be undefeated. Have I ever criticized her on this podcast? I don't think she could do any wrong. She might be the new GOAT. Tony D'Angelo better watch his back.
Okay, wait. That term gets thrown around way too much, too loosely. She's not there yet, but I love this video package. I'm still questioning her richness. I don't know if it's real or not. She keeps saying now it's time for shopping, but we don't actually see her shopping. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's suspicious.
now she's a gymnast, so it distracts you from the shopping thing. She's not really talking about it anymore. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. When she was getting her nails done, she didn't get like all of the stones. You know, the more stones that you put in your nails, the more expensive it is. She didn't get up. Look at all these stones, okay? You realize how expensive these nails went?
Hey.
You don't see any stones on Tiffany Stratton nails because you got to pay extra for that. So I still question her richness. But outside of that, I am very high on Tiffany Stratton.
Okay, because we can say, Issa, how many female talents are you feuding with right now between Lacey Evans and Tiffany Stratton? Like, you're in more feuds
I
than
think that's
Furious
about
right
it.
now.
I am. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do, you know?
I will say this about this segment. They were showing her jumping on that trampoline. The ceilings were really low in that building. For a building that has a trampoline in it, like I thought she was going to hit her head on that trampoline, and somebody must have. I think it's Coast Fitness. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
1000%. I noticed that as well. I was like, is she supposed to go? Like, are we supposed to be doing this in this building?
Yeah.
Maybe it was for kids. Maybe it was like their kids training facility.
Yeah.
Maybe she can't afford to rent out the grown-up one because
Uh-oh.
she's not real rich, so she can afford the kids one.
Do you know how much it raises your homeowner's insurance to have a trampoline in your backyard? You might as well get a swimming pool at that point.
Why would you tell them that you have a trampoline in your backyard?
You got to get insurance on it because if someone gets
Okay, but
injured,
don't tell them. Get the insurance before you get the trampoline, and then you just quietly add it.
I had a trampoline in my backyard. I can almost guarantee my parents did not tell them that they had a trampoline.
Yeah, nobody. Yo, Glenn, Glenn, we need to hang out with you a little
Don't
more.
snitch, Glenn. Come on.
Yo, like, why would you voluntarily call your insurance company and be all like, "Hey guys, I'm getting a trampoline"? You don't do that. And
Well,
then
what
if
if somebody
something
falls and gets
happens,
hurt?
yeah, they tripped.
That's when it gets hurt.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now I'm going to talk about the injury I had caused by a pogo stick as a child. But
Oh no.
let's just say wear underwear if you're going to be using a pogo stick. Things can get caught in the springs.
Oh no.
So, worst pain in my life. Let's talk about Axiom. What did you think of Axiom and Duke Hudson tonight?
I thought he had a fun start, right?
Me
They
too.
started like backstage. They were like fighting everywhere.
Yeah.
By the time the bell actually rang, I was like, wait, the match hadn't started yet because they've been going at it for like 10 minutes. I thought this was fun. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. The match was good. And I love how they just started brawling from the beginning. I wish they would have not done it twice because we saw it later on with Von Wagner and Solo Sikoa. So I don't need to see two of the same kind of feud, or the same kind of fight. But I thought it was great.
I like how they did. This was different. This was one of those things that I think is different in this era in terms of on this show because everything else seemed very similar. But the fact that they did that brawl into there, and then Duke Hudson originally wins, and he's about to walk off, and then the valiant babyface gets on the mic like, "No, you got to come and finish me off," and then he wins. I think it made everybody look good. I thought they did a very good job with this.
Tornado Anthony Y super chat saying,
Yes,
Justin LeBar can't with the force of destruction. And Dylan Matthews, Australian 299, saying you three meet up at Best Buy and do a show in the DVD section.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Have you
just do it.
been in the DVD section of a Best Buy lately?
No. I was just at 2 Best Buys last week, and I didn't even think about going by the DVD section.
Very small. Very small. Terry Allen Jr.
Are there beads there that you go through?
Terry Allen Jr. said, going to Florida next week, are face masks needed? I would mask up.
I'm going to Florida in 2 weeks for my brother's bachelor party, and I am not masking up. The whole time.
Speaking of masking, I hope Nick feels better soon. Nick Hosman caught COVID. He tested positive. You guys know him. I was sitting right next to him. I tested. I'm negative. I feel bad. I hope he feels better soon. He thinks he caught it on Nashville, and then I get the message from him this morning. I was like, bro, I spent too much time with you. Don't do this to me right now. So feel better soon, Nick.
If I get COVID, I'm going to blame you, Issa.
I'm blaming Nick, but I tested negative, so not even COVID wants to smoke, okay?
She's undefeated against COVID, too.
It's good. I just know that I've gone 2.5 years without getting it, and I know there's going to be some dumb move I make my first weekend back out, and I'm going to catch it. And just be like, God damn it.
I'm COVID-free.
I haven't gotten it. I've been to a lot of events, but I'm very careful. I always have sanitizer, etc. But I've been to a lot of events, and the fact that I haven't gotten it, and I test every time before I go when I come back, just because I don't want to be spreading it everywhere. But I feel bad for Nick, man.
Yeah, it sucks. Hope Nick gets well soon.
Get well soon, Nick.
Absolutely. The Creed brothers versus Tony D'Angelo and Stacks for the NXT Tag Team Champions chips. And I want you to know that Santos Escobar made his return, kept Tony from getting the win. The family's breaking up, y'all.
This was bullshit. Like you lost a match. You agreed to be at D'Angelo. Now you need to own it. I can't stand Legado for doing this. But if this gets us Legado de Fantasma's entrance music back, I'm okay with it. Only because of that purpose. I missed that entrance song. I'm excited about it, but this feud has been going on for way too long. We need to move on from it.
Yeah. Big pop for Santos Escobar. It's time to break up the family. I was actually thinking that Tony D'Angelo was going to win some gold tonight because they're teasing another breakup with the Creeds and the Diamond Mine. So I figured, well, Roderick Strong's going to come down here and screw it up for them. And then our boy Tony D is going to win some gold. But when that didn't happen, I was very upset.
I feel like Diamond Mine, they've been teasing a breakup longer than they've been a healthy, happy faction.
I think so too. I think they've been teasing it longer than the time that Malcolm Bivens has been gone.
Yes. It's crazy. But this is okay. Tony D needs something fresh and new, though.
Yeah, and I think coming out of this, they're gonna wrap this up. And listen, even though if it has been going a little long, this has been a successful feud. I think I love the turf war that they had. I've liked more of this feud than I haven't liked. But it is time to move on, and when they do, Tony D'Angelo's gonna have to find another family to colonize.
Yes.
What if he takes over Toxic Attraction?
There you go. that could get really uncomfortable really quick.
What?
So Roxanne Perez, Cora traded some promos. Mandy Rose wants Cora to take out Zoe Stark.
I enjoyed that. I thought that Mandy Rose's bargain to Cora Jade made sense. Right? Like, hey, you take her out, then you get to face me. It almost made too much sense. I was like, is she the heel here? Because she's absolutely making sense. I don't see why Cora Jade wouldn't take this offer. Yeah, you're right. The baby faces are the ones that are stupid. You're absolutely right about that. But when it comes to Roxanne and Cora Jade, I don't know. I still can't get behind the feud. There's just something about the way how everything just went down that doesn't. It's not there yet for me, even with the video packages. We'll see where it goes, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm just still not invested in this story.
The video package is why I couldn't get into this feud, because Roxanne Perez is telling the story like they're best friends and we've loved each other for so long, and all the pictures are like within the last week. Like it's them at the concession stand last week, them in the ring last week.
She said we dream about being tag team partners, and I was like, I thought you guys just started hanging out, and then she didn't even put any base to the bitch. She was like, she's a bitch. Like she just said it so casually. He's like, no. This is wrestling. If you're going to say the B word, you pause. You put some bass into it. Like, she's a bitch. And then you stop. And then you continue. She just so casually said it in the sentence that it didn't even have the bitch effect.
It was like the Key and Peele sketch, She was trying to be...
Give us one more of those. He said, my heart just palpitated hearing that.
You're a bitch.
Hey! Gotta put your bass in your voice.
You gotta say it like you mean it. She was just like, no, but did you notice it though? She was like, yeah, she's a bitch, and I was like, you just used the B word and just like roll through it. No.
Yeah, and she has kind of a whiny voice too, and she came off as a heel, I think, in that video package in terms of how she was talking about Cora, like she's supposed to be my friend, and she turned on me, and I felt like she came off as more of a heel until I saw Cora Jade's tattoo and I read it, and it said something along the lines of "Starve your ego, feed the soul," and I was like, oh no, she's definitely the heel in this feud.
That's Joe Gacy healed him right there. Tornado Anthony Wise said Kobe can't handle the tornado and Roman can't too. Damn.
That's facts. Shout out to the Tornado Anthony Y. Listen, everybody knows the streets talk to me, and I hear word on the street here and there. An exclusive report, Roman Reigns was thinking about coming on this podcast as a guest, but he's terrified of the tornado. That was told to me. Take that for what it's worth.
But
Is
speaking
that
of
what he's
chorus,
terrified of? He's probably terrified of me.
that's true. But I think with Cora, that tattoo, like we need a heel that has a vision board and talks about the power of positive thinking.
Oh, that's never happened, has it?
Not in
Oh,
that.
that
No,
would be perfect for NXT.
Oh my
I'll tell you
god, that would annoy me so much.
Yes, and
probably be a great
I would love
gimmick.
that.
Yeah. So Brooks and Dunn were out there. Brooks was wearing Daisy Dukes, wrestling Joe Gacy, and that's the best. I mean, it gets all downhill from there. Pretty Deadly did a run in, but Joe Gacy won. He dressed Cameron Grimes after, and Cameron Grimes was backstage being boring.
Yeah, I mean, we're so far removed from the billionaire Cameron Grimes, so I've given up hope. But he's got to find something else, and maybe comedy is his thing. Maybe he just needs to lean into a comedic character. It doesn't have to be the billionaire, but something funny, because this guy is legitimately funny, and I'm just not into him when he's just trying to be a normal guy.
Agreed.
Ooh, why am I so tired?
Talking about Cameron Grimes.
I took a nap today and everything. It's these damn antibiotics. So Alba Fire and Lash Legend did a match that I forgot was even going to be on tonight's card.
Poor Lash Legend, man. Poor Lash Legend.
Yeah. They need to end this feud. I mean, we've got the point.
End this feud. They need to start this feud. I mean, come on.
It's been so one-sided. The next time they face off, it's like, what is there to gain from this?
I bet you if you gave Lash Legend the opportunity to say bitch in a promo, she will say it the right way.
Oh, sure. One take.
Cheers.
Nikita Lyons had a rebuttal to Kiana James.
Nikita Lyons, you can tell she'd be stealing DVD players, man. When she cuts her promos, she's one of those people that steal DVD players. I'm telling you right now.
She's living her truth, Issa. So the tornado, Anthony. I said Issa. I'm not reading that tornado. That's a little suggestive.
Right, what happened? Suggestive. You can read that. He's just shooting a shot. You can shoot your shot on the show.
Alfred, you read it.
Okay. Tornado Anthony Y of the Tornado Nation says, Issa, I'll show you real God mode in the needle mover.
No, come on. Read it in the voice that Anthony Y meant it in, Alfred.
Oh, no.
What, you want me to read it like Barry White?
Yeah.
Yes. Please.
Okay, don't make me laugh. Issa, I'll show you real God mode and the needle mover. How
Thank
sexy
you.
was that? I don't know if the needle mover is a good name for your junk, if that's where he's going with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that
The anaconda mover, but like not a needle.
So main event tonight, Von Wagner versus Solo Sikoa in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I know we were all on the edge of our seat wondering if America's sweetheart Von Wagner was going to win this match. But no, it was Solo Sikoa.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. I know. That's why this was like first off, let me tell you all the problems with this match. Falls Count Anywhere. We just had the big last man standing match at SummerSlam. This felt like kind of a baby version of trying to do that with doing something really epic. In this main event, we went over. It was good. I like that the dumpster had the WWE logo on it. That feels like it's
Me too.
very meme worthy. But yeah, that's the point. Though, was like, did anyone think Von Wagner was going to win? Like,
No.
Von Wagner's parents didn't even think Von Wagner was going to win this
Oh.
Glenn.
No,
but were you not terrified for them when they were in the parking lot? Because I was.
Oh, it's true. It's very dangerous there.
I mean, Trick and Carmella went to the parking lot, and these baddies needed help with their car, and I thought for sure they were done.
Oh, yeah. Me too. When they were in the parking lot, I was like, it's over for both of them.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, Glenn, because now that you got me thinking about comparing it to like what we saw on Sunday, then it doesn't seem entertaining. But for NXT, I thought it was fun. These guys have been fighting everywhere, all over the place. I did kind of want more. Maybe they should have ended it in the parking lot or something like that. You know, I thought it went backwards when they kind of like made their way back to the ring. I wanted to see the chaos and the match ending like a super random spot. But outside of that, I was truly entertained. I love seeing Solo get a win. I haven't forgotten that Solo wanted a shot at Carmelo. I want to see him back in the title picture. But I will say that I feel like Solo elevated Von Wagner because it's the only time I've ever been invested into anything Von Wagner is doing.
I completely agree. Von Wagner is slowly starting to grow on me, and I didn't even consider the Solo aspect of it ever since he started working with Solo. But we make a lot of fun on him in this podcast. But ever since he started brawling with Solo Sikoa, I think I started to do a 180 on him. He had a pretty good promo last week. He's starting to grow on me. Not so much yet, but he's starting to grow on me.
Yeah, I mean he's huge compared to the rest of the roster. You think they'll be doing more with him, and they're not. And I feel like this feud really brought him there. We'll see where he goes from here, but I would love to see Solo Sikoa being a contender for a title soon.
I think Solo, he could very well win the main championship if he does not get called up. But I think they're going to worry about calling him up and about brand confusion for the Bloodline.
I mean, I don't think it would be that hard. If they didn't want him to be part of the Bloodline, they could make him his own guy. It would just be that the main roster crowd would just be chanting Usos. And he would deal with that. So it'll always be the elephant in the room, unfortunately, when he first gets there. But I think he'll be able to shed that. And I want to see him as NXT World Champion before he leaves the territory.
Me too. I actually talked to Rikishi this weekend. We talked about Solo a little bit.
Oh.
How was that?
Spill some tea, girl.
It was you gotta wait for the interview to come out, but we talked about Solo. We talked about being from the island. I asked him if he was the real head of the table, and he said, "Don't call me that." So he's scared of Roman, obviously.
Wow.
They need I think if I could fantasy book The Rock's return, they need to do an actual head of the table where they have the Anoa'i family there. You get even now you can bring back Nia Jax, you can have Rikishi there, you can have Alpha and Sika, and then slowly they're all acknowledging him until The Rock comes back and off we go.
I will say one thing. I saw him the next morning at Starcast again on Sunday. So I walked by him and I said, "Great night for the family, huh?" And he said, "Was there ever any doubt?" No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't.
There you have it. So that was NXT tonight. I feel like SummerSlam weekend's officially over now. But tomorrow,
thank God, because I can't take it anymore.
Dumpster match tomorrow. AEW Dynamite.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
That was
going to be a lot of fun.
I missed the diss track. Was it good? I haven't even had time to go back and watch it. How was it?
We really picked it apart this past Friday. I thought it was good, but it was not on the level of what he has typically done.
Right. Okay, I need to check it out. I haven't watched. I completely forgot. Somebody brought it up in my chat earlier, and I was like, I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. So I need to go look for it.
What's the big match for Dynamite? Are they promoting anything huge tomorrow?
Well, the Acclaim versus the Ass Boys. I mean,
okay.
Come on.
Wow, they're already doing that?
It's tomorrow. Does it get any bigger than that?
There's got to be something else, no? I mean, they have Moxley wrestling every week now, so.
Yeah.
Where's MJF? What's going on with MJF?
I miss him. That is
the strangest thing. I mean, even if they bring it, it's starting to remind me of when Bret Hart was like the hottest wrestler in the country, and WCW waited months before they put him on their TV. I was in the building when he cut that promo. I've never heard anything louder in terms of a reaction to a promo in my life, and he's been nowhere to be seen since.
Well, you have Jericho and Wheeler Yuta, and the winner goes on to face Mox. I guess that's probably the big match.
There you go. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Tornado, I'm not reading that. Just come on.
It's $1.99. Why can't you read it?
How come no one's paying super chats to hit on me or Alfred? We're feeling a little
exactly.
Equal opportunity.
I'll hit on you, Glenn. Pause.
Please let me hear it. Hit on him. Tell him, hey Glenn, if you were a DVD player, I steal you.
On that note, have a good night. We'll be back here on Friday. Hope the rest of your week goes well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Issa's at NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. Alfred's at This Is Nasty. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Give us all a follow, and we will catch you back on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.